Hello, everyone. Good to see you. Welcome to the Renovation and Outdoor Living Show. It's Friday, the 25th of September, a special day, because this, I think, is our 50th episode. Isn't that amazing? So we kicked this off when COVID broke and lockdown came in at the beginning of April, basically. And I think this is our 50th episode. I'll probably get a message in a minute from Ravina, the producer of the show, saying Nat 49. But anyway, I'm going to go with 50th. So happy 50th episode to me and to all of you as well. Now, first, a quick recap of Tuesday. This is when we had our villas special. We had just the one guest on Tuesday. That was Dave Giorgetti from Refresh Renovations in Auckland Central. Loves his villas, and he's fully renovated a few of them. So he joined us for the whole show. We navigated the pros and cons of villa renovation, the questions he's commonly asked by villa owners, the costs, the considerations involved when renovating a villa, the things to look out for, the pros and the cons, as I mentioned. He also walked us through one of his villa renovation projects, showing it's the stunning potential in these beautiful Victorian homes. So, and then we gave away a couple of prizes. We still have, actually, we've got two more giveaways, one which you know about and another new one, which we'll tell you about later on in the show. And I've just got confirmation. Yes, it's our 50th show. So first, we're in the garden today. Perfect if you're in Auckland, like I am. The temperature has hit the 20s, probably the first time we've been in the 20s since early autumn. So it really is a feeling of summer in the air. Let me know how the weather is wherever you are. Just chuck a comment and it'd be good to be able to find out whether you're all enjoying this beautiful spring/summer weather. And when the sun's out, you need shade, which is why we're going to be talking to Zoe Wood, who's the marketing manager at NewRange. And Zoe, really good to see you today. Thank you very much. You're joining us Christchurch. You've got sunshine down there?
Yeah, it's really sunny and it's in the 20s as well. It was 26 a couple of days ago. So
yeah. It's quite bizarre, isn't it, the way Christchurch gets those really amazing peaks. So now, Zoe, before we talk about NewRange, this is a new career for you.
Yes, it is. Yep. I came from the tourism industry, and obviously during COVID, it's been an opportunity for me to, go into a new industry. But I love home renovations and doing a project myself at the moment. So it's perfect shade.
So I'm interested then, because obviously, you're looking around for opportunities. You the area you want to work in, which is homes and renovations and making homes better, basically. What was it about NewRange which struck you?
I really liked how it was a New Zealand owned and operated company, and all the products are, manufactured right here in New Zealand for New Zealanders and our kind of weather conditions. And so it's just a really cool story, and it's family owned, and you get to meet everyone in the company, and it's great company.
And we talk so often, actually, we're lucky on the show that so often the people who we do talk to, or the companies we talk to, they are classic, awesome little New Zealand founded and owned companies, because we are so good at innovation. And when I think about NewRange, so it's an established brand here. It must have been around for 20, 25 years or so. But yet I've not heard of what we want to particularly talk about today. And this is a great example of Kiwi innovation, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So, NewRange has actually been around since before World War II. They were manufacturing shelter and textiles originally. So, really innovative company. And basically they saw a need. People were wanting shade, but something that was retractable, easy to clean and maintain, and something that will last the distance. So Wave Shade was born. Obviously the main benefit of it is that it's retractable, so you can actually enjoy the sun when you want it, or the shade when you need it. And then it also can retract and unclip in a matter of minutes, so you can put it away for winter, or you can water blast it to clean it once a year. But the fabric is made to last, our warranties are 10 years on the fabric, so it's, is made to last the distance.
It's really clever. And while I was trying to think, obviously, your benefit of being able to retract it or not is that you can either choose sun or shade. But actually, the point you just made there about the fact, so can you then sort of unclip it and take it down to be able to water blast it properly?
Yeah, so once it's in its retracted position, it just really easily unclips from that wire. And then, a lot of people like to put their shade away over winter. And then also, once a year, we recommend just unclipping it, stretching it out and giving it a bit of a water blast, or you can scrub it by hand. And yeah, the fabric's mold resistant, but to keep it in tip-top shape, we do recommend just cleaning it once a year. And yeah, when a lot of people like to put it away. Oh, the other benefit of being able to unclip it is when it's windy. So it's made to withstand reasonable winds, but if it sort of gets over 32 kilometres an hour, you can just retract it away and secure it. Or if it's going to be a storm, I guess you could unclip it and put it away.
It's and I and I know, because I know the new range that what the material is. I mean, is it just talk me through the material, because I know it's pretty robust.
Yes, it's really robust. So they've been around for a long time, and they've sort of looked all around the globe to get the right fabrics that last. And as I said, it's made to. Most of our fabrics have a 10 to 15-year warranty, depending on the fabric that you use. And they're mold and mildew resistant as well, so they don't discolor and things like that, and particularly the shade fabrics we use, they have an openness factor of only around about 5%, so they're a really good UV barrier to protect you and your family and your friends.
Yeah, because there you see in that picture there, so this is key, isn't it, kids? Yeah. And it is hard as a parent to make sure your kids are sun safe the whole time, but this is a solution. So it's got really good UV. What's the word? UV penetration.
UV resistant. So obviously, we all know that schools around New Zealand have their sort of sun smart school policies, which have come around from the Cancer Society. But that's only while they're at school, and we think that those same principles should be applied at home, and keep that kind of consistency for your kids. So the Cancer Society of New Zealand has seen a lot of evidence that excessive UV radiation during childhood can be linked to skin cancers later in life, particularly those superficial ones, which are actually a result of lifelong exposure, not just a short period. Those superficial ones develop over, lifelong exposure to sun, and 80% of that is actually gained during childhood most of the time. So, really important to keep your kids, especially as we head into summer now, and you're going to be heading outdoors and doing activities outside. Hats and sunscreen, as we know, are great UV blockers, but it's hard to get kids to keep the hats on and to keep them reapplying their sunscreen. So just having that extra barrier of shade is really important.
Yeah, and it's interesting how closely you guys have to work with the Cancer Society, because for obvious reasons. So what I'm interested in that last picture also is the sheer size of that, because I would have, the first ones we looked at were slightly smaller. That's a big area being covered there. Tell me, so that's like is that like 6 blocks? How does that work?
Yeah, I think that one is in 6 individual blocks. So the benefit of wave shade is you can cover really big areas because you can have multiple shades. And also the benefit of having multiple shades is you can have some retracted, some extended, just depending on where the sun is. And you can attach it to existing pergolas, or you can attach it to your house, or walls, or all sorts of things. So,
because all you really need to do is to run those wires and then clip it on.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of people do build structures specifically for it, but a lot of people also have pergolas that they've had for years, and they've just never quite had the right shade structure to attach to it. So it's really versatile, and they're always custom made to fit your space and your measurements. So great for small or large areas, and also indoors. So a lot of people have rooms that are often unbearable at certain times of the day because they've got a glass roof, or a slanted kind of ceiling with glass in it. Wave shade can be used indoors too. And the benefit of that again is that when it's not sunny, you can retract it away and still get that beautiful sun coming through.
Yeah. So so that's a good example of the indoor space. I mean, look at that. Isn't that a great? What is? Does it come in different shades of colour?
Yeah, there's a huge range of colours, and definitely something to suit every home. And I guess a little bit of a misconception about shade is that lighter colours don't block the UV as much as the darker colours, but with our fabrics, they're pretty much exactly the same. So that light colour you just saw before will give you just as much protection.
Yeah, and that's what I know about. Oh, here you go. That's a good example of that lovely looking charcoal color. Quick thought about, does it always have to be that sort of wavy shape, or can you get it so you can stretch it a wee bit more taut?
Yeah, well, it's made specifically for you. So you can choose sort of a low, a medium, or a deep billow, depending on the look that you're after. It can be quite a statement piece when you're looking kind of from outside, seeing those billows. So it just depends on the look that you're after. But yes, we can do any kind of depth of that.
And I did love the picture which we saw. You know, you're talking about the versatility, and we saw it underneath the louvres. And we talk a lot on this show about the louvres because they're such brilliant weather protection, particularly, you know, here in New Zealand. Yeah, that one there. Look at this. That's a stunning shot, given the light, how it plays out on the furniture on the ground. I think that's really cool.
And that's the benefit of these light colours as well, is you still get that light coming through without with still having that UV protection. So really great statement piece. You know, creates new living areas outdoors, and we think it's almost a piece of artwork in itself.
Yeah. That's cool. And the big question though is the cost. How expensive? Given the quality of the material, it wouldn't come cheap. I don't know. What does it cost?
So as they're custom made, there's sort of not one standard kind of cost. You can either, you know, give us the measurements yourself and we'll give you a quote, or you can have one of our partners come out and measure it up. But a rough kind of guide is about $200 per square metre. But obviously the costs change depending on the size. So the more shades you need, the more it will cost, but they're still because they last so long. They are a really good investment. If you're going to have to buy a few, you know, ready-made shade sails over the time you're in your house, it's quite good to invest in something like this that's made to last.
And if you think about the cost of a really, really good angled umbrella or something, I mean, that's going to cost you $1,500, $2,000 probably, isn't it? So it sort of works out. Probably, So there is real value. Is it waterproof? Will it keep the rain off?
Yeah, so the standard fabric isn't waterproof, but it definitely would wards off sort of droplets from showers. But you can get it in a waterproof fabric, and then when it's waterproof in the waterproof fabric, we just angle it ever so slightly to one side so it kind of billows off, but not so much that you would notice it to the eye. But yes, waterproof is an option. Obviously, with this example, like you see now with two shades side by side, there'll be a tiny bit of a gap in the middle. But yeah, and a lot of businesses actually like these too because the billowy shape actually has acoustic dampening properties too. So helps sort of minimize that noise.
Cool. It's amazing. A really, really clever innovation, and I think it will be hugely successful. And how long does it? If I want this up by Christmas, what are we talking? Beginning of October next week? Oh, it's the end of September now. How long would it take?
Well, the shade actually doesn't take that long to make. It's more if you're getting someone to install it, they get pretty busy. Obviously, the closer we get to summer. So, I mean, if you ordered it now, you could have it in a few weeks. So I really recommend if you are wanting shade before summer, now's the time to start, you know, exploring that, because the closer we get to Christmas, as with most businesses, the busier everyone gets. So yeah, definitely still lots of time though. So
yeah, brilliant. Hey Zoe, that's really cool. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of an insight into the wave shade. I think it will be hugely successful for New Range, and I'm really, and well done to you for getting yourself into something different and something really innovative and interesting. I love these New Zealand companies. They're fantastic. So good to see you, Zoe. Thank you for that.
Great, thanks, Rawdon.
No worries. We'll catch up again next time. New Range. Summer's here. We need to talk to New Range.
You do.
We'll catch you soon. So that's who's talked. One of the things we just mentioned there is talk about children, keeping them safe in the garden. So we're going to turn our attention now to getting them involved in the gardening. And this is when we decided to turn to one of our horticulture specialists, Angie Thomas. Now, we've met Angie before. She's the horticultural consultant to Yates. and she's talked to us a wee bit before from Yates in her spare time. She runs gardening workshops. She's guest speaker at garden clubs and shows. She's been on local national radio shows. She talks about gardening in the media. She's written for gardening and lifestyle magazines and websites. She has a very popular book on indoor plants, the top 50 indoor plants and how not to kill them. That's what we talked about last time. And she actually has a job as well, which is to provide educational and inspirational gardening information to the Yates staff, the customers, the consumers, the media, and children. Angie, good to see you again, live from Sydney. Have you got a lovely day there as well?
It's a bit windy, actually, so I will have to brace myself when I go out in the garden a little bit later, because I might get blown away, but it's not going to stop me. I'm going to be out there regardless.
Do you go out every day? Is it like, because I mean, you just love your gardening so much. Is it something you just have to do to get your fix?
I have to check, even if I've been busy working all day from sun up till sundown. Well, I need to go out to the garden to harvest something for dinner. So I always try to put something on our plates that's growing. So at the moment we've got asparagus and I've got salad greens as well, which is just fantastic. I love adding fresh produce. And I have to go and check because a seed might have sprouted or a flower might have grown, and I've got chickens in the backyard as well, so collecting eggs. So I'm always out in the garden. Something is always happening. Checking on the beehives. It's fabulous. It's a really lovely way actually to wind down after work, to go and see what's been happening in the garden.
Do you find that, so we want to talk about children particularly here, do you think that idea of being able to watch something sprout is part of the attraction of gardening to children? What is it that they love about being in the garden?
I think it's a little bit of magic to, even for me as a grown person, to watch a seed sprout. There's something joyful about that. It's this little hidden parcel of magic just waiting to sprout, and to watch those first few leaves unfurl from seemingly nothing, it's a brown indescript seed. To see that germinate, it's really quite special. And for kids to watch the process of a plant growing, and particularly from seed, is really, really important. So it teaches them all sorts of things. So they might not be aware that you're actually teaching them something in gardening. So that little kid on there, he's grown up a little bit now, but that's one of my boys, and I just love harvesting. So the growing process is a really important part of gardening for kids to get involved with, to see that right from the very start. It gives them some ownership as well. So if you are having some challenges encouraging your kids to eat fresh produce, get them involved in growing it, because suddenly something that they would have turned their noses up if you put that on their plate, if they've grown it themselves, there's really a sense of pride. There's little you in there sowing some carrots for me, very concentrating on sowing them correctly. He was really good helper in the garden. But one of the things I do is I run some, or when we're not in coronavirus lockdowns, I run some garden classes at my son's school, and kids pull a carrot out of the ground or chew on a fresh radish. And if I told their parents that, do you know, your little Johnny had actually eaten a radish, they would say, he did not. He won't eat anything for me like that.
Yeah, I love the point you just made about obviously it's educational, but so we talk, obviously it's a lot of fun as well, but it's really interesting point you make is that it actually makes them want to eat what they're growing, because they understand this process and they love probably getting their hands dirty. They probably love the whole process of the digging and the planting and the pulling out and all that sort of thing.
The time that I got a large amount of soil delivered to the school that we had to move from one area to the other, they had the best fun. They were up to their elbows. I'm sure they went home and the parents said, what on earth have you been doing today? All the school uniforms and socks are all filled with dirt. But they had an absolute ball. And I think sometimes as parents, and I know this as a parent myself, you have to think, this is going to be a messy day. So get some old clothes on, make some mud pies, do some gardening, So prepare yourself for a day of getting grubby, but they'll just love it. There's also some good things in soil. So we're all so focused on being clean and disinfected. There's some really good things that kids can get from soil. So it's a really good thing if we let them dig in the dirt, some outside play, get them grubby and get them involved in that growing process. So they're poking seeds into the soil and watching them grow. And you saw on the screen before a little shot of peas that my sons had harvested. There is something special when kids can go into the veggie patch and pick fresh things. So we call them garden lollies because that's what they really are. They're so fresh and so tender and so sweet. You try to put them on their dinner plate inside the house, it's like, oh, I'm not eating that. But suddenly when they're out in the garden picking their own peas, it's like, yes, I'll have another one, please.
Good point, Angie, isn't it? That you've got to let them eat while they're gardening, because that is the real reward for them out there at the time. Just, guys, go for it. Go and help yourself to some food. And then suddenly they're eating this fresh produce, fresher than anything they'll ever get inside, because we're not boiling the heck out of it. What about the flowers, though? I mean, we've talked a lot about veggies, and I get the attraction of the veggies. Is it harder to engage children in flowers?
Look, I think there is something extra special when you can eat what you grow, but there's so many beautiful benefits of flowers because then it enables this interaction with a whole new level of nature. So there's bees and butterflies and there's colour. You can get the kids involved in growing things that they can then pick as a bunch to bring inside and give them to mum or dad or grandma. So facilitating that journey with flowers is a really good thing as well. And there's lots of gorgeous flowers that you can be planting and growing over the coming months. Sunflowers is one of them. And you can also bring a bit of fun with growing flowers. Say, for example, who in your household can grow the tallest sunflower? Or you can grow a beautiful sunflower circle. You find a sunny spot in your garden and draw out a circle, a metre or a couple of metres wide, and you can grow this little magical circle of sunflowers. And that's a really lovely place for kids to then hide. It's their own special little area. Lots of fun flowers, happy, joyful, colourful flowers. And then you can also use the flowers as a bit of a source of little mini beast hunts. So again, with the nature, go out with a magnifying glass and a little notepad and count the bees and count the butterflies and little lizards and worms and all sorts of things. So it can really become part of your backyard nature trail. So you can grow your own adventure.
What should we avoid, Angie? I mean, it's good to paint a picture of the joy that they can get out of it. But I mean, so my children, for some reason, they don't like lugging the pavers around, or moving the hard digging, which I get them to do. They're never that partial to that side of it. But is there actually, on a serious note, is there stuff which we should probably try and avoid for not putting them off or for the safety reasons?
Look, I think we all have to be careful in the garden. So anything sharp, so tools. So young children, you'd have to be careful of sharp spades or secateurs and things like that. Sharp sticks and things in the ground. So sometimes, I mentioned before about getting your hands dirty and digging in the garden, but there's also a time for gardening gloves as well. Make sure they've got some sturdy footwear on if there's going to be sharp things to potentially tread on in the garden. Always wear a hat and some sunscreen. So it's just being observant of your environment. Also, if you've got spiders that might be living in and around potted plants or in the garden, or even with bees, we need to be mindful of the bees. So yes, there's definitely some watch outs, but definitely more benefits than there is dangers in the garden.
Of course, but the final thing I want to talk to you about is, it's inevitable that particularly, we're both in big cities. Space is becoming a premium. A lot of people don't have the luxury of having the veggie patch outside anymore, but that shouldn't exclude the gardening experience.
Absolutely not. There are so many fantastic and delicious veggies you can grow in small spaces and also in pots. So even if you just have a sunny balcony, there are lots of delicious things that you can grow in pots. So salad greens and strawberries and compact flowers. Even hanging baskets. So once you've exhausted all your horizontal space, look up, because there's pergolas and outdoor structures that you can hang hanging baskets from. And if you can imagine a beautiful hanging basket that's dripping with strawberries or beautiful cherry tomatoes. I can sort of guarantee actually with the cherry tomatoes that not many will actually make it inside, because that's part of the garden snacking experience. But that is all good. That is good sort of snacking. So make the use of all different spaces. Vertical gardens are really popular too. So that makes the use of a blank wall, and it's much nicer to look at a wall that's filled with herbs and veggies and flowers than it is plain bricks. So look onto other spaces rather than just out in the backyard.
Yeah, that's such a good idea. So very quickly, so we want to get something activated this weekend. Our climate, as you just mentioned, you obviously have a slightly warmer climate, but we're talking about 20 degrees here now, and it's don't know if there's much rain about. Where should we? What would be fun for them to plant this weekend?
So one of the best sources of inspiration is actually to go to your local garden centre and see what they've got, because usually garden centres are pretty clever and they will just have in stock or in the seed range what people should be planting at the moment. So tomatoes are really good as long as you think that they're the last chance of frost has gone, because tomatoes are not frost tolerant, but the little cherry tomatoes are just fantastic for kids. Strawberries is another one. So troughs and hanging baskets and window boxes are really good. You can start to plant sunflower seeds, which is great for kids. There are also really interesting veggies and some of the new seed range in the Yates seed range for kids, interesting shaped veggies and cool colours and make it fun for kids. So go to your local garden centre for inspiration and enjoy and involve the kids in the choosing and the buying process as well. So you get them started right from the start, and there's their own little special project. Give them a pot of their own that they can really feel ownership of, and that will really get them involved.
Yep. Or you could just enter this giveaway. This is what we want to talk about. So, Angie, talk us through what Yates has come up with here.
They've been so busy really channeling their inner child, which I just love. Some really fantastic, fun and interesting and colourful veggies and flowers. So gourds, you can do these really knobbly dinosaur-looking gourds. That's one of the new kids' seeds in the Yates range. They're some really interesting, and I love them. They look like little UFOs. It's little mini squash scalopini. And so they look really fun, and you could actually draw a face on those and make your own little UFO. Some gorgeous little miniature sunflowers. They're so pretty. They're just, and the essence of summer. Huge pumpkins, massive pumpkins. So you could maybe turn that into a little bit of a competition at home, who can grow the biggest pumpkin. And what about strawberry popcorn? How fun does that sound? Perfect for growing your own popcorn and sitting around movie nights, summer entertaining, come up, you can grow your own popcorn. And then there's a flower range as well. So to entice all those magical insect creatures into your garden, like bees and butterflies. So much fun can be had in just a few packets of seed.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So we've got we've got 3 of those seed packs to give away. So 6 packets in each. That is what you want for your children, your grandchildren. And Angie, I think to win this, if you want to enter this competition, you need to like the page and let us know your best. Oh, no, you don't. How can you win this? Oh, I'll tell you what. Name the book that Angie wrote. Okay, I mentioned it at the beginning. I want the proper full title. Like the page and name the book that Angie wrote. Okay, if you want to Google it, it's Angie Thomas. Angie, thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome.
And I'm gonna and it's gonna get me down the garden centre this weekend. I want to get some strawberries. That's gonna be cool.
Happy gardening, everyone.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Thank you so much. There is Angie Thomas, who now tell us what book she's written, and you can get into the draw to win some of those seeds. Also giving away next week this is the work hack. Okay, this is the 5 of these lamps, these desk lamps. And to enter this, you need to like the page and let us know your best work from home hack. Okay, we'll announce the winner of that on Tuesday, okay? And we'll probably give the seeds away a little bit after that. So, to our top 10. This is the top 10 kids that have no idea how funny they are. That's outstanding. At number 10, we've got this 2-year-old who drew a pillow with chalk and then lay down for a nap. I just love, and we're talking about children in the garden. These are the guys who you want to get out in the garden. Number 9. Well, these kids were asked to dress up as elves for their school play. Except for the kid who dressed up as Elvis. That's outstanding. Number 8, potentially the best answer given by a student. Finish the sentence. If I had the principal's job, I would quit and get a job I'd enjoy. Bad day at the office for that kid. At number 7, this little one was invited to the princess party, but she wanted to be a puppy, and she was going to go as a puppy. I remember those from when our children were small, that random dress-ups which they'd get addicted to. And number 6, this is the future scientist. I want to learn about explosions because I like to blow things up. I actually think that's very sensible, and I look forward to is it Joyce? I can't really read this properly. Jake, I think, who will be blowing up buildings at some stage in the future. So number 5, always good in a game of hide and seek. At number 4, this kid was invited to a birthday party again to learn superhero moves, aka jiu-jitsu. He took it very seriously. He went as a superhero. At number 3, well, we've all got this kid, haven't we? Somewhere in us. Or you really hope that one of your children is going to end up doing this sort of thing. Number 2, now don't be shocked. This is a 6-year-old who drew her mum, her dad, herself, and a little brother. They're snorkeling, okay? And when I first saw this, I thought, oh, I'm not going to put that on. But no, they're snorkeling. And our number 1 child who doesn't realize they're being funny is this 5-year-old, wise beyond her years. What has helped you during sad times? Chicken. There you go. Have a great weekend. Get out into the garden if you can, and we'll all catch up again on Tuesday. See you then. Bye-bye.